German Township Board of Trustees to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Cross, here. Mr. Potter? Here. All are present.
All right, with that being said, we're going to start off tonight's meeting with a special presentation. Last year, we started giving out we're calling it German Township's Lifetime of Service Award. So tonight, we're going to present the second annual Lifetime of Service Award for German Township to Mr. Frank Kazarek. And I would like to introduce Resolution 2025-39. It is a resolution to recognize and express the appreciation to Frank Kazarek for his lifetime of service to German Township and the Valley View community. Whereas Frank Kazarek has demonstrated an extraordinary lifetime of service and dedication to the residents of German Township and the broader Valley View community. And whereas he has served with distinction as a German Township trustee for 9 years, always placing the needs of the community at the forefront of his work. And whereas Mr. Kazarek committed 23 years to education and the development of the youth as the principal of Germantown Elementary School, leaving a lasting legacy on generations of students and families. And whereas his unwavering commitment to community service is further evidenced by his 55-year membership in the Germantown Lions Club. Thank you all for being here tonight, including 28 years as its dedicated secretary. Whereas Frank has been recognized by the Lions Club International as a Melvin Jones Fellow for his humanitarian services and is a recipient of the Founders Award, signifying outstanding global service contributions. And whereas he has been a charter member and 52-year supporter of the Germantown Historical Society, preserving and promoting the rich heritage of the community. And whereas Mr. Kazarek played a vital role as parade co-chair for the 175th Germantown Jubilee and 200th Germantown Bicentennial, as well as numerous 4th of July parades showcasing his tireless volunteer spirit. And whereas he served as the narrator for the Germantown Community Musical from 1968 through 1994, enriching the local arts and culture landscape. And whereas he gave 37 years of dedicated service as the scoreboard and clock operator for the Valley View football games from 1981 to 2018, enhancing the athletic experiences for the players and fans alike. Whereas Frank has also served faithfully on the St. Augustine Church Council for many years and was president of the Valley View base in 1978, further exemplifying his leadership and devotion to community betterment. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the German Township Board of Trustees, Montgomery County, Ohio, that one, the German Township Board of Trustees hereby formally recognizes Frank Kazarek for his remarkable lifetime of service and commitment to the citizens of German Township. Section 2, the board extends its heartfelt appreciation to Mr. Kazarek for his many contributions across education, civic service, history, faith, and community leadership. And Section 3, the board hereby proclaims Monday, July 14th, 2025 as Frank Kazarek Day in German Township, Ohio, in honor of his enduring legacy and exemplary service.
Is there a second to Resolution 2025-39?
Second that.
Thank you. Any discussion of the resolution?
I would just say this is the second year we've done this. I think it's good to, I come in here and your name is up on the plaque in here. So to come in here and see that, but I think honoring you and your service that you've done to the community is important. And for all of you guys to come here tonight and show up and support is awesome as well. So I think it's well deserved. You were nominated by Mr. Heaston if it matters, but this is going to be a yearly thing going forward. So let us know in the future if you guys have names going out, but appreciation to you and everything you've done, not just for German Township, but the community, the Valley View community as a whole. I, 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 I appreciate that.
Any other discussion? I will call the roll. Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Dr. Cross? Mr. Potter?
Yes.
Resolution 2025-39 is adopted. Congratulations, Frank.
And we have a couple things for you tonight. We had this plaque for you. Got your name and.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And then you guys will have a signed copy of our resolution as well. Take home with you guys, so you can display that. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you very much. And thank you for everything you've done for our community. We appreciate it. Appreciate it greatly. Glad you're today.
We get a group picture with Frank and all the lions that are here.
If you guys want the logo in the background, I can move whatever needs to move. We'll just
Why don't we let Frank just sit there and we'll
That
go
works.
around?
That, whatever you guys want to do. Whatever you guys want to do. I think.
We can put Frank where the podium is. He can sit on his chair.
Louis, can you get a picture?
And we can all be back here.
Even here.
He'll give you two. Well, your daughter did a good job. You guys did good. All right.
Turn around and sit down.
Great nomination.
Knock him down.
He is my lion mentor,
Oh, really?
not my sponsor.
Okay.
Back here. Right angles, you like to go probably choose one of the taller ones.
I am not. I'm challenged. Right?
Hard to say. Wasn't a big complaint about.
Come on back, everyone. And while you're getting organized, if you didn't hear me earlier, if you signed in when you came in, you will get missed meeting credit tonight. If you didn't sign in, no credit.
No, I'm in short. Short, but sometimes coming in.
Tall guy, you need to move back. Here, here's my shoes and see.
Little guy up here to look present, if I see him.
I just want to see, if you can see him.
So we're all gonna be in the back?
Right down on his knees.
That's true.
That's right.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Feeling it. Okay. Yeah, I say that's nice. Watch those cords there. Okay, I got the cords here.
So Frank, we're going to take another picture with you and the trustees.
So should I stay right where it's over and then just walk down?
Everybody just go.
Everybody down.
So. No donuts, no food.
Get a picture. That'll show up. I need something black. I need something dark. Something dark I can put behind them. I have to apologize. I got you mixed up with Bob McLean. Didn't look at me.
No.
It's gonna get the trustees. Yeah, get in. Yeah,
You got a lot better things than there. Trust me.
No, you gotta be in this one.
You deserve everything you did.
Probably cheers.
Bravo.
I understand. I'm seven, a lot. Congratulations.
Let me get a picture.
Good seeing you. You take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get a picture with the trustees. Yes. The opposite of getting out of the.
Yeah, it was only 14 years when I wasn't here. Started when I was 14.
Thanks, Chief.
Solid. Super.
Thanks
again.
Hey, these guys, thanks for coming up.
Thanks, Lake.
Thanks, Lou. Yes. Take care.
He's got the box.
Yes. Congratulations. Nobody has worked harder here in Germantown than you.
Thanks. Congrats, Frank.
It was good seeing.
Stay out of trouble. Keep these two out of it.
Thank you very much for everything you've done. Thank you very much.
You get up.
Thank you.
Let's turn around, Dad. Get them on our Lions Facebook page.
Okay. Are we leaving?
Yep. Unless you want to stay for another meeting for all concept.
If you want to roll call it.
He's just congratulations, right?
Congratulations.
You didn't take your.
Hey.
I thought it was on silence. I won't hear it.
Just incredible ball, but not.
No wonder you're tired. All the stuff on top.
Okay.
Well, I was afraid to come.
Oh, they didn't come.
Places when I was younger.
You can tell they did not. Shut the door.
It's like in school.
Okay.
Sometimes you get a paddle.
All right, we'll come back in now. Thank you for everybody who participated and everyone who came tonight for Mr. Kazarick. This is going to hopefully be an annual thing we continue to do going forward. So greatly deserved. And by the audience we had tonight, it was well-deserved as well. So I would like to move on to the fiscal. Actually, before that, we have Mr. Stiver with the report for the park levy. Sorry, I got a little off with our large crowd tonight.
Yeah, was just by standing up, right? It's fine. No, I have a personal relation, not a personal, but a real close relationship with Mr. Kazarick, because my mom was his secretary for 20 years.
Okay.
And it broke my heart when I came by the elementary building the other day and it was just all gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, those two, yeah, they had a great relationship. So it's good to see him being honored that way. I'm here kind of, I guess, representing the city. Terry is in Florida, enjoying a time down there with his son. I think he's in a baseball tournament, a little R&R also. So I know things have changed since the last time as far as what we can run, what the township can run, and that you'll make a decision tonight as to that. And I think Mark's already probably discussed that with you as far as the type of levy and the millage and so forth. But there were some concerns about, what the monies are going to be used for. And Terry did a really good job. He met with Andrew Pritchard, who is in charge of VB base as well as VB soccer. And I'll just read his. He says he is absolutely ecstatic with the levy proposal and the three big projects as suggested by the committee. So Andrew is obviously on board with this. And one of the concerns was, would we get enough people interested, knowing what it takes to run a levy? And I think Terry feels very confident that with those two groups, plus he never got around to, or he couldn't get in touch with Sam Howard. She, I guess, is in charge of football. He reached out a couple times. Will reached out, but to my knowledge, as of today, they'd not heard back. But Knowing Sam, I'm sure that group was going to be just as interested in this as the other two, because everybody benefits from it down there. So that being said, some of the projects are, and I don't know if this numbers have gotten passed around to any of you yet or not. None of you? Okay.
Yeah.
So the first project was to renovate, one of the top projects was to renovate the concession in the restroom building. They were able to get some proposals on those. And I think that was around $300,000, I believe, is one of the estimates. Again, until you get an architect in there and somebody to look at the actual condition of the building, some of these are just estimates. And then that was one of the top projects. The other two were the finishing the paving for both the Kircher Park side as well as the soccer parking side. Weber side, thank you. Those also were going to be in excess of a couple $100,000. I mean, you can imagine how much space there is. Again, you never know what the price of asphalt or concrete is going to be a year out from now, but given what they know today. The others weren't so much, didn't so much have an estimate with it, but one of the other things was to continue seeding the soccer fields. That would be a low cost, but it is some maintenance that would have to take place. They also want to look at additional playground equipment at the Hillcrest Park. If you guys have been up to the Hillcrest Park, it's used quite a bit. But again, just how much they would put in there, they weren't sure. And then they want to finish the MMI Park to do whatever's necessary up there. I know you receive $10,000 a year in that, but I think that was only for 5 years. So I'm sure you're going to have costs beyond, I think you're in year 4 maybe?
Yes.
So, and I've talked to Rebecca about that. So there's still ongoing costs there. I have no idea how much, but I know you've got plans for things down the road. I don't know if you can speak to that as far as cost goes or not, but.
That $50,000 is going to cover what we had planned.
Okay.
So if we have more plans. which
Okay.
is Plenty of room up there to do stuff.
Okay, so you have things as far as what you would like to see, maybe you just haven't put it down on paper yet, but the 50,000 will cover what you had originally planned. So, because I think you've got one more year of that. Some additional things that Judy wanted me to point out was the amount that the city will give to the parks is going to increase that. And I believe it's 40,000 now, or is it 30,000?
Be more worried about what she's taking out of it.
Haven't got to that yet, but that's next. Currently it's 40,000, but she said that I thought I heard her say they would increase that by 10,000.
Okay.
So that would put that at 50,000 a year. And then the cap, regarding what Lou was talking about, they would cap that. Let me see here. Cap the employee salary to a specific amount much lower than the 113,000. And I thought I heard Judy say 50,000 would be the number that they would work with on that. It's 113 now. So obviously that would be much lower.
And then there was another, something else the city was taking out for another column there for.
I didn't see that, but let me look.
But we haven't seen any of them numbers.
Pardon me?
We haven't received any of the numbers.
Randy, the spreadsheet that Judy sent us and Terry last Friday.
Yeah.
Said that the park services and supplies would be at 73,000 the first year with a 5% increase.
I don't even know what that is. Services and supplies.
I don't know.
Well, supplies are obviously things that are required to maintain things, but as far as the services go, I can't speak to that, Lou. I don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, her and Terry were working on the numbers. And then, like Mark said, that last spreadsheet came out Friday. Judy had already left and she wasn't in today. So I've been trying to scramble to get information with her out and Terry in Florida.
So these were just budget numbers basically, Mark, that she was giving you, or?
Projections.
We were looking at revenue that the renewal and an additional
Right.
1 mil would generate, and then how much of that would then be available for the capital.
expenditures.
Correct. But she estimated, like Mark said, the 73,000 a year, with a 5-year, 5% escalation each year, and that total was 403,000 for the 5 years, based on the spreadsheet I'm looking at.
But that's the supplies.
Supplies and services. It
And
does
plus-
not include
plus
personnel.
the- Plus the salaries.
Yeah, that does not include any personnel costs.
And you're lowering the salary part from 113 down to 50.
I thought I heard her say 50,000.
It says 64. on the
64,
spreadsheet.
okay. All right. I don't have that in front of me, sorry.
So it went from 73 to 64. That's what.
No, the 73 are the supplies and
113.
services. 113 to 64, so it wasn't quite 50 yet. She was lowering it about 50, I think. Maybe I misspoke. Not down to 50,
That'd be-
lowering it by 50, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I know that maybe isn't all the way down that that you would like to see, but
Yeah.
it is a step in the right direction. Certainly lower than 113,000, which is quite high.
That's correct.
So, and that of course will be absorbed by the general fund. So I think it's the way they're gonna allocate Ben's costs, mostly Ben. So anyway, I know, like I said, and I apologize for the misunderstanding I guess we had with the auditors as far as the type of levy we could run. I was telling Mark, I said, I haven't worked this much in the city setting in a municipality, but schools were always allowed to do those kind of things. I mean, we ran them constantly, so I was very surprised when we found out that as a municipality, we couldn't run the combination. So that's unfortunate, but at the same time, it kind of takes the pressure off you guys a little bit to have to make that decision to run the combination. So from that standpoint,
Same question as last month. If this passes, will the city be taking any admin fees out of the new money?
well, I think the 50,000 is part of that reduction. But as far as siphoning off money,
Yeah, percentage or anything that they,
not that I'm aware of. No.
Staff costs, is that what you're talking about?
no, the admin fees that they've been
I
charging.
think that's what the service is.
It is, that's what it all, but when we refer to the admin fees, it's kind of all that together, Jake.
Okay,
The personnel and all the costs that go with it.
There's two columns that the city's gonna be taking out. $64,000 for employees.
Yes,
And then another
personnel costs.
73,000 services and
No, that's what they estimate the services to be for the supplies and services.
so that's two different things they're taking out. Right?
so is that 130?
No, the 73 is just, she put that in there to show what the cost would be for those types of services and supplies for 5 years. That's just kind of that. It's the number below, if you were looking at the budget, it's the number below the administrative
contractors,
services. Contracted services.
the mowing.
Mowing would be the biggest part.
All right.
Mhm. That would be the biggest number there as far as the 73 per year. And then, like I said, any supplies that are needed along those lines. No, that's cost that's going to come out of that fund.
Is that the same cost that's been for the
Yes.
last few years?
Yes.
No, it was 113. Where did that number?
No, the 113 was
Salaries,
was the administrative salary cost.
Ben, Tiffany,
Correct.
Will.
And then, there's one other person, yeah. Percentage of theirs goes into that. She's gonna reduce that down to 64. It was 113, that's gonna be 64. So we're lowering the cost to the park funds down to 50,000.
50,000.
And then increasing the amount of the contribution that the city makes.
Like 10,000.
She doesn't have a number here.
I think that $40,000 was that tax or something from the.
Comes out of the general fund, yeah, it's from our taxes, yeah,
Yep.
income taxes. It's just a transfer.
Jeff,
But it
question,
doesn't
just
say,
state your name for that.
Deb Cross.
oh, sorry.
So what are the supplies and the services exactly?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
I don't know exactly, but the biggest cost is, Scott, Jacobs, I'm sorry, the mowing.
But how much the mowing costs, right?
That's the biggest cost as far as services go. There's 73,000 in supplies. You have to think of it, there's two types of expenses. There's all of your admin, which are your personnel. Any salary, retirement, which is his pension, insurances. That's kind of the admin cost.
All cities.
Then below that are these other costs, the supplies and services. In that, there are a number of smaller ones. The biggest one in there is the mowing. I don't know what that number is right off the top of my head, but
His name is Scott. It's not
1,000, I believe, a year is what I read recently.
much.
Is that correct, Brandon?
I don't have.
How much
it
did
off
you
my
say?
head.
62.
62,000?
I think that's about the ballpark, what I
That's
remember.
what I thought. So
60-something.
do we have a list of what these are gonna cost? And I know that they said there was a spreadsheet, but that shared with the trustees or?
I don't know if it got down to that line item level. I could send it to Lou tomorrow. I mean, it's the budget, what we're talking about.
This,
Now, she hasn't the top part, the admin probably has not been reworked yet, as far as taking this out, the 50,000. The part below hasn't really changed since what it was before. Those services, as any time you're paying for the services or supplies, the cost escalates. We do that in our own lives. Everything increases. And so she's built she say more of a 5% increase in there for the next 5 years.
so the city is going to still be mowing all of the city property,
Right.
all the parks.
Yeah.
But there is Scott, his name's Scott. There's a man out there that mows all the soccer fields and that,
Roberts.
and does all the striping or something.
Roberts,
doesn't it?
that's who it is.
I think that's like $20,000 a year. That's part of the services.
He prepares all the baseball fields.
They're gonna give us a break on that, but not lower the admin fees, right?
No, the other way around.
Other way around.
Other way around. The admin fees are going to come down.
With admin fees was 113, coming down to 62.
Okay. Can you explain what's going on with this? What you were trying to do last month that you couldn't do, but how you're doing it now and what's the amount of money that it would bring in?
Well, we had talked about running a combination levy to renew the half mil. And then add 1 mil on top of that. That's what the conversation amounted to. Was it last month or 2 months ago? Last month. And that's the direction. Well, you hadn't decided on that, but that was one of the options. So
That's what
Mark,
the city wanted.
yes, that's what we were asking. So Mark reached out to the county auditors to submit that request to get the projections back for what that would generate. And is it Gloria, Mark, her name?
Yes, Corey about what?
She replied back. Let's see. How do you have that? She had questions about what we were trying to do. Mark replied to her, and then she basically said that the Ohio Revised Code does not allow us, Township, to run a levy of that nature. That we couldn't run a combination. We could run two separate. You run as many as you want, you just can't run a combination. So Mark and I had that conversation. I think he called me on Friday. And he and I both felt that since we have one more year to go on the renewal before it expires, that probably the most prudent way would be to try to run a 1 mil levy, a new levy this November. And then come back, hopefully it passes, and then come back next year with the renewal. So we're kind of back where we were to begin with. We just lose, well, we are back to where we were.
So what you're wanting to do this fall is do the 1 mil?
Well, I think that's what we would like to see. I know Mark and I have talked about that.
That's my recommendation.
So you want a 1 mil on the ballot for this November? And then next spring, I assume we'll run the,
We would have two chances next year, I believe, May and November, two shots at it, two bites at the apple, so to speak, next year for the renewal.
For the renewal of the half mil.
Yes.
That's a must.
And because it is a renewal, it does not raise taxes. I mean, you gotta be careful with replacements and renewals.
Yeah.
The replacements are going away, which was very confusing.
Actually, that was vetoed unless the
No, I didn't know
legislature
that.
overrides it.
Did he really?
Very-
Well, they do have the numbers to probably override if they want to, yes.
They're
I didn't know
going to be
that.
Next week to override
Okay.
some items.
Scott, question, just state your name for the record.
Avondale Field Dennis. So you would run in the fall a new levy.
Yes.
And would you also let citizens know there would be the other levy coming up in the spring, so they know they're getting a
I
deal?
would think so, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the more transparent, that's how I feel, and I think we would all agree to be transparent about that.
The half mil levy is the 5-year annual levy. It's what be coming back up
And
next.
it would be ran under just parks, would it say? What would it say on the ballot?
Well, that's a great question because it'll say what the Ohio Revised Code says it will say.
So it would, go ahead, Mark.
We
It'll
don't-
say recreation.
Recreational
Yeah, we-
levy and then parks and parentheses.
Yeah, we can't choose the language. It's a little convoluted sometimes, but it would be clearly for
So
parks.
people might not have a clear idea.
If the
I
trust-
think-
if the trustees agree to this particular way of doing this, we should run the November levy as a capital improvement levy.
Yes, correct,
And then the half mil renewal as an operating levy,
exactly.
so that the citizens know this money, if they pass the 1 mil, would be specifically for upgrades in the park,
Correct.
not for mowing, not for
Personnel.
salaries or anything else.
But now, devil's advocate here, so say the 1 mil passes, and then a year from now, the other one does not, then you're not necessarily gonna be able to use all that money for capital.
That's correct. You would not be able to
You're
do
locked
that.
in to use it capital. What do you need it for mowing or whatever, just the personal maintenance?
The city will have to pay for the mowing themselves.
I pay for a lot.
What's the 1 mil bring in, dollar wise?
About 1,200,000
Mm-hmm.
over 5 years.
5 years, right.
Is there any way to get like a clear breakdown? Because it kind of sounds like you just talked all over the place and I have no idea really, except for what Lou kind of explained. Like,
In regards to what?
just kind of, there was this, and this, and numbers and.
I kind of agree. I mean, the whole idea to get you here tonight was to give us some capital improvement, what that 1 mil people would be used as far as.
Yeah, renovate the concession buildings.
But now we're getting all these numbers and I really have no idea. I mean, I'm not stupid, but I have no idea what you're talking about, the 113 and.
Yeah, we've not been, like, so we've never received those.
And
So I think it's
Received what? I'm
the
sorry.
numbers, the 64 and the 50 and the 113. We never got any numbers before tonight's
I
meeting.
didn't put the numbers together, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I'm
I'm
not
not the
saying,
one that,
yeah,
I was asked to
It just
come here
muddies
tonight.
the water, I guess, from what we
Okay.
wanted you to present tonight versus getting into the budget for the next couple of
All
years.
of that discussion of allocations.
Yeah,
It all relates to the renewal levy, not to the capital.
Not to the capital. That's correct.
But you are correct. If the renewal doesn't pass, the capital money will probably have to be diverted to operation, some portion of it.
Can it be?
yeah, is that legal?
I mean, at a school, you can't take
Yeah, but-
capital money.
We can't actually do a
Not
capital
a true
levy.
capital levy, like a sewer.
Or We won't do a capital levy. Maybe we could, but we won't.
but
We will tell the people,
you want
It
to
is
pitch
for
it as a capital. That's gonna be the pitch, not the wording on the.
right, the wording will be just like the renewal, except it'll say an additional 1 mil versus a half mil renewal.
But if the renewal doesn't pass, then it drops back and they're using it
We're
for
gonna have
operation.
to.
No, they don't have to.
Well, they don't, but if we want to keep the parks going,
No other city does. No other city does.
I just was thinking about the verbiage and capital and all that. You have your average person out in the township that may not understand those technical terms. This takes money it can't pay that truly tells the
That's
people
what-
what's gonna happen.
So when do we have to have this?
We have to do that very soon.
okay, if we want to run what you've already submitted through the auditor, which is a 1 mil additional levy starting in 2026, we can finalize that tonight. Our recommendation, mine and I think Randy's, is we run the 1 mil additional starting in 2025. And the reason being, for 5 years, they will mature in 2 different years. If we run the additional to start in 2026, next year run the renewal starting in 2026.
You know, two at the same time.
If they both pass, you'll be renewing both, assuming we do continue the capital 5 years from now, which isn't necessarily a given.
Well,
But that they would mature and have to be rerun at the same time.
but the renewal one doesn't is not going to start till 27 anyway, so this might as well start till 27.
We won't start
Collections in 26.
That's a way that you've already put in to the auditor, the 1 mil additional starts in 2026, first collecting in 2027. It's exactly the same time frame.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you want to go forward with the 1 mil in November and then wait until next year for the renewal, my recommendation is we start the 1 mil a year earlier, which means tonight you need to start that process again with the auditor.
Okay, I understand.
And then we would have to schedule a special meeting between now and August 6th to actually place that on the ballot in November. But you cannot do that until you get the auditor's certification.
So we're gonna discuss all that in the rest of your fiscal officer report, just to let people.
It's all in
If
my
they
report.
if they haven't copied that off, that's gonna explain all that.
Yes.
I don't know who has that or not. Who has that?
Jake.
So,
But we really don't have a whole lot more this month than we did last month as far as hard and fast rules about how that capital gains money is going to be spent.
Well, if I understand it right, if we run it as capital gains, really, the salary money for the city should not touch any of that money. That comes out of the half mil levy.
Yes and no, I mean, it'll all get combined as far as.
So what she's saying is she doesn't think we have any more information on the capital
Right.
spending.
Improvements, yes.
That's what I hear you.
Well, I gave some numbers on the first three, the building and the 2 parking lots. The others are estimates right now. I mean, I don't know how you can. Yeah, I did the first 3, which are the main.
But how can you ask people for money if you don't know how much something's gonna cost and how you're gonna spend it?
That's where you have to run their campaign to make sure that you do a good job, like you said, of letting people know. Because they're not gonna understand it when they read the ballot language.
But if people here don't understand it, how?
Well, it's just going to be used for capital. That's the main thing. I mean, whatever we use it on, as long as it's on capital, go with the most important first and work our way down to the money runs out.
It's not really we though. Once that money comes in, the city's gonna choose how it's spent.
Well, again, they're looking at concession stand, 2
That's
blacktop,
300K.
and the 2 blacktops, which is probably at least 400,000, at least,
The paving,
at least,
he said 200K.
For each one.
each one, each side.
There's 2 sides. There's 2 sides too.
So does the park board have control of the money once the levy's passed, the decision,
Recommendation.
Yeah, as any of the other boards.
as any of the other boards do?
I can't imagine capital projects that are going forward without Parks Board or Parks Oversight
I would think so.
opining on that. And
That's correct, right. So oversight should have more to say about the money than the park board,
Correct.
which I'm on the oversight. Terry's on the
Well,
oversight.
Terry is too, and he's a real advocate.
Yes, so the Terry's pushed more for this than
Yeah.
anybody.
So you're on Parks Board and Parks Oversight? How's that work?
I'm not on park board.
You don't understand.
Oversight.
Okay.
We're just.
Terry's on an oversight for the city. And then,
Should have had lots.
yes. She's a girl, Rochelle. Remember who the oversight committee is? I don't know who the, for the,
I don't know, I'll tell you.
Rachel.
I can look it up. That's not important now.
So anyways, we
To your point, it is very.
okay the
I
money
admit.
per se.
The city
To
doesn't.
me, this is, I mean, I did this for 30 years, so sometimes I forget that people have difficulty understanding when you get into that kind of language.
Well, you don't want to talk down to people about it.
No, I know.
Parks Oversight, the third member is Shelley Hansbach.
Yeah. Shelley is the
Hansbach.
third oversight.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's all.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. All right. Are there any other visitor comments tonight? Do you want to, you have a JED update or you now or later?
Gave away a lot of money last month.
That's true. You did. If you have one, that's great. If not, it's okay too.
I wasn't really going to, but Mark Keener treasurer of the Valley View Joint Economic Development District. So we met last month and had several people come and make presentations. We had a pretty packed house for a JED board meeting. And so forgive me for not remembering the exact numbers. However, we allocated $5,000 to a greenhouse project for the special ed teacher at the high school to build a greenhouse in conjunction with FFA kids and to let the special need kids learn, plants and growing and harvesting. That was $5,000 towards a $10,000 project. Donated $4,500 to the music department for purchases of keyboards to have a keyboard program. They started it with pianos. However, the pianos were donated old, moving them from place to place and heavy, yes. And moving them from place to place within the high school, the pianos were starting to break.
Also not tuned either.
Also not tuned, yes. And also you had kids playing, which then the other kids playing can't basically hear themselves play. So they were wanting a donation to go and buy keyboards, portable keyboards that had headphone jacks and also an extra jack in them so the music teacher could also listen in as kids were progressing. We donated, how much did we do for the tournament? It's about $4,000.
Five.
Yeah, 5,000 towards Stop the Bleed kits for the high school. That was presented by the security team at the campus, Mr. Tyson Dillon. So we gave them enough to buy tourniquet kits for every classroom and then extras for, janitor's closet, library, auditorium, lunchroom. So I think they had about 15 over and above what they needed for classrooms. 2,500 for a trailer for the music boosters because their old trailer was falling apart. And so they already bought a trailer. So we gave them enough money to basically pay off the trailer and also to do some custom shelving inside it for their instruments and things like that. And well,
I think that was it. You guys gave more. They had asked for 4 keyboards
Yeah.
and they doubled it and gave them 8.
yeah, because they were asking for enough. So they have 12 kids enrolled in this keyboard program and they only asked for enough for like half a dozen keyboards. And I said, for another 1,500, can we get enough for everybody? And they're like, well, yeah. So the board graciously said, yeah, let's give them 4,500 instead of the, 3,000 that they had asked for. And then same with the trailer, they had come in asking, do you remember, Mark, how much, it was less than we gave them. And so it's kind of like, well, we'll just give you enough that you can pay off your trailer and do the project. So, and then same with the Stop the Bleed kids. They were, I don't remember the original number, it was around 3 and we ended up giving them more than enough to buy everything they needed. So it's a good use of money that was taken from the teachers. I'm hoping word is getting around out amongst the teachers to do these special projects. I think there were, we had 4 presentations at the last meeting. So yeah, I'm just tickled that this money is going to good use. So there's still plenty of money. So if you know anybody out at the schools that wants to do a special project out there, let us know. We got money to donate.
Well, I think the news is finally getting out.
Yeah. Yep. So.
That's a good use of the money that they're taking out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a shame there's not a bigger percentage taken out for you guys to give back to them.
Yes. So to what Mr. Stubbs is referring to, I'm sure everybody saw. Did we talk about this at last month's meeting? The article that was in the Journal
Yeah,
Press.
briefly,
Yeah.
horribly written and
Yes. So, yeah, I'm hoping that the requests for money keep coming in because we will be revisiting the whole back percentage in the December meeting of the JED. And I don't want to have a bunch of money left over there that then justifies a lower percentage, which is good for the township and the city because then that's more money to go to the entities. But I think we would all agree we would much rather be seeing the money that's taken from the employees at the Valley View campus to be turned back over to them as much
In the
as
true
possible.
spirit of a jet.
Yes.
Money's supposed to be spent
Yes.
first. place. So
Exactly.
the more money that you guys have to spend, the better,
Yep.
in my opinion, at least.
So anyway, that is it for me. Our next meeting is going to be whatever the Wednesday in September is after the trustee meeting in
Okay.
September. So
Appreciate the
All right.
update.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Mr. Keener. Any other visitor comments tonight? All right, with that, we'll move on to the fiscal officer's report.
Okay, let me turn on my camera. There we go. Good evening again, everyone. A few items, including what we've already talked about. We'll come back to that at the end of my report. But let's start out with the minutes from the June meeting. Are there any additions, corrections?
I'd like to make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. I've also given you the normal financial reports. These are for June. You have the fund status at the end of the month. You have the year-to-date cash summary by fund. You have the month of June cash summary by fund. You have the June receipts, and you have the June payments. Also, I want to make note of these items. Receipt number 174 is what we just talked about for $26,356.12. It was from the Valley View Joint Economic Development District, and it's our first income tax payment we received this year. During 2024, the total amount that the township received from the JED was a little less than 38,000. So this first payment was a good one. Thank you, Mr. Peter.
and keep in mind that that is first and second payments combined. And the reason for that is that we did not have a clear picture of the amount that was going to be withheld at the JED board's March meeting. And so we had to come to a resolution on how much we were going to withhold, so I can do all the allocation for the money that comes in. Because as the money's coming in, I allocate it. This goes for JED expenses, this goes for the holdback, this goes for potential refunds, and then the balance then goes to the entities. But since we didn't have an amount for the special projects at that point, I couldn't really allocate stuff that was coming in at our March meeting, so I did not cut checks for March. We will be getting a third payment will come in September, and then a fourth payment in December.
Thank you. Next, voucher number 507, $5,303.93 to Safety Systems is for the upfitting of the new unmarked cruiser. Voucher 508 for $20,862.05 to Stewart Signs. It's the new digital yard sign, and it looks terrific. And as an example, today they advertised our meeting tonight. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted it, was to be able to advertise things as they happen. And finally, warrant number 50872 for $601,191.62 to the city of Germantown is the city's share of the first half road levy tax collections, and then 90% of tax collections of the other 5 joint levies, less the related expenses. Are there any questions about the financials? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the financials and also approve the June payments?
I would like to make a motion to approve the June financial reports and authorize the payments of June bills, warrants 50870 through 50881, and vouchers 457 through 556 for payroll, direct deposit, tax withholdings, and other electronic payments.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on, I sent a response to the Montgomery County Auditor's Office waiving a hearing concerning the township's 2025-2026 tax budget and/or inside millage at the County Budget Commission's August 28th meeting. This waiver is sent annually by the township. If anyone should like to attend, the meeting starts at 10 o'clock, again on August 28th. It will be held at the County Administration Building, but you may also attend via Zoom. This next item concerns ADT security. We spend $103.64 monthly with ADT for panic buttons. There was one right here to my right on the wall. There's another one in the zoning and trash office. There's a feeling here among the office, myself, Mr. Holbrook, Ms. Close, that the benefit may not justify the expense, which is currently paid by the general fund. If you would agree that that is a service we no longer need, I think we can simply cancel that on your motion.
So I would like to make a motion to discontinue the monthly contract with ADT to maintain the panic buttons in the meeting room and the zoning trash office, as any benefit does not justify the expense of $103.64 per month.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We will take care of getting that canceled between Mr. Holbrook and me. Perfect. My monthly reminder that the township's web content and mobile applications will need to be compliant with the new Department of Justice disability accessibility requirements by April of 2027. And there is a link to a fact sheet concerning these new rules on the Civil Rights Division website, and I provided that to you in the past. All right, let's move on to the parks levy. So, as I mentioned earlier, the deadline to file the levy request, if we want it on the November ballot, is August 6th. Now, you currently have two park levy options that have completed the first required step by receiving certification from the auditor. The half-mil renewal would start in 2026, collecting in 2027, and a 1 mil additional starting in 2026 with collections in 2027. If you want to pursue one or both of those, we can do that right now with the resolutions that I've provided to you. But then, as Mr. Stiver talked about earlier, last month he requested that the auditor certify the amount that would be generated by a combined levy of a half-mil renewal and a 1 mil additional starting in 2026, collecting in 2027. And as Mr. Stiver said, the auditor was unable to complete this request, noting that the Ohio Revised Code does not include that combination as a levy option. The levy options available to us include a renewal with an increase, which would not use current values, a replacement, which was removed from the state budget passed last month, but then vetoed by the governor, and a replacement with an increase, both of which would use current values, or just a plain additional levy. But we cannot do the combination of a renewal at old values with an additional at new values in one levy. So, assuming that you're happy with the list of capital items that Mr. Stiver presented to us, as I said earlier, I recommend that we go forward with a 1 mil additional levy in November, and then wait to run the half-mil renewal in either May or November of next year. The current half-mil levy expires this year, but we will still receive our collections in 2026. So if we go to the ballot in 2026 for the renewal, we will not lose a year of revenue. But as I also said earlier, we keep having both levies expire in the same year down the road. I recommend that you start that 1 mil additional levy this year, not next year. But to do so, we will need to begin the process all over again for the request for the auditor to certify the amount to be generated by a 1 mil levy starting this year. And I've given you that resolution in case you want to act on that. And if we do that, the auditor has assured me that she will get that back to us fairly quickly, because we will then need to hold a special meeting sometime prior to August 6th to approve something on the ballot. And I think that meeting will only last a few minutes. So with that, I'm open to answering questions or letting you discuss what you'd like to do.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mark here. Mr. Easton, when Mr. Stiver was making his presentation and he mentioned a capital levy, is it possible to run this as a capital levy? Is that permissible within the ORC? Or is this just something they're going to pitch? Because as a citizen, if it's possible to run it as a capital levy and we're pitching it as a capital levy, then I think it should be run as a capital levy, because I want those funds restricted. You're telling me this is going to be for improvements. I don't want it being done for grass mowing. I mean, is grass mowing necessary? Yes. But if it's being pitched as the capital improvement levy, I think that's what it should be used for. The money should be restricted. If it is a capital levy, it should be restricted. So if you don't have an answer for that, I hate to have yet another special meeting. Trustees already did the schedule, but I mean, you may need to have that or communicate it out from whatever the auditor says.
I do not know the answer to your question. I would have to research it, either with the auditor or just getting on and reviewing the ORC. I know schools can do that. I'm not aware that other political jurisdictions can do that.
And I was doing some Googling during all this and I didn't dive into it. I hate Googling stuff like this on my phone because I'm too old to be using a forward screen. It appears that it is at least possible if you have a separate township or board. So, but that then becomes its own basically legal entity. So we don't have that. Well, and now with the city running the parks though, even though this is for the township, I mean, I don't know how long that would fit in based on the 3 minutes of a Google AI ads.
Yeah, we do not have the park set up as a park district.
Right.
So if that's what you read, would be allowed for a park district to do that. That is not our situation.
I understand that's not our situation. I'm saying that's what at least came up with the 5 minutes of Google. So I think it still needs some question. And on the other hand too, if the board says, we don't really care, let's just run it, as far as whether it's restricted capital or not, then that's fine too. But I just wanted to throw that out there that if they're pitching it as capital, I think it should stay as capital.
I agree. It should stay as capital. Now, just so everybody understands that, it doesn't mean that some of it would not be used, because they would have some city employees overseeing the capital projects.
Yes,
So there would be a small portion, hopefully small, which needs to be negotiated of overseeing these projects.
project management.
So, but not mowing grass.
Right.
So I guess I have a whole problem with this whole thing. When this was never pitched as far as last meeting for a capital levy, it was just pitched as a 1 mil levy to include capital improvements, but not pigeonholing it to say it has to be a capital levy. Because again, if say that $500,000, just like was brought up, that $500,000 does not pass, you got no money.
Right.
And if you say this can only be used for capital improvements, you're stuck. You can maybe build a new concession stand, but you can't mow the lawn around it. Or you
Well, if
can't.
it doesn't pass next year, they're still just stuck. If the levies doesn't pass.
Well, yeah, you're stuck either way, but again, this new idea of going for a capital levy, which was never brought up before, I thought the whole idea, you pitched the 1 mil as will be used for some capital improvements. This is what you say during the campaign, but you're not making it just for capital improvements. And I don't understand as far as making putting the 1 mil up this year and then the half mil up next year.
Because they're trying to get them so they're not on the
So
same
they're not on the
house,
same
which I think
house.
is sneaky, in my opinion. Because you're trying to get the same, this is why they wanted one instead of two.
Yeah.
It's
You
the
get them
same,
together.
but if you have two, your people get to see. That's the problem I have with the two.
Right,
If you
yeah.
spread it out, you can run them in back-to-back years. But you're not necessarily being honest with people, which I have a problem with.
Which gets back to Ms. Hill Dennis's point of people gonna be told that, oh, if you vote for this one, we got another one coming next year.
Right, and that is definitely a concern. I don't think that they will do a very good job of making sure people know that there'll be another one until it's too late. The other thing I would say is if we're gonna do an addition for capital improvements specifically, 5 years from now, that doesn't have to be run again. That can be done, they can do their capital improvements,
In 5 years.
and for 5 years, that money can come out, and then there's, especially if they give us a pitch like they did tonight, there's no reason for it to continue, it needs to go away.
It would in 5 years from now, again, you would pitch whatever more capital improvements that
Right.
could be done. And it'd be up to the public to vote for it.
Right. So I think it's somewhat sneaky to try to put one on in this year and then turn around and run another one a year, just so they're off.
Unless there's some kind of wording that this is not an operating like a capital. You know, I'm very concerned of the half mil levy not passing next year anyways. It only passed by 0.5% the last time.
Well, then, if that's the case, I think if we have an issue with it passing, we've got to try to pass the point, the renewal has to pass first.
Well, I would, personally, I would vote for the capitals and not the renewal myself. Because that's when it put money into the parks and improvement funds. The other, city takes that, they're all of them.
That's definitely the frustrating part. That's,
Why wouldn't we just wait and do a 1.5?
and let
when
one
the
expire.
other one expires? Why, the only reason they're wanting to do it now is to try to sneak it in. So that they can say, when the half mil is up again, we have to pass this, we have to be able to cut the grass.
It might be how you, don't tell how you don't look at it, yes, that's very possible. But I think a lot of it is they don't want them both to renew in the same year. So if you run them both 1.5, so 5 years from now, it's going to have to be another 1.5. It's not going to be two separate,
Right, it would be,
not if you run them together,
But if it's a 1.5,
okay, I get
pitch it
you.
as a,
then it's 1.5 forever.
that runs.
Well, not exactly. Just like you can do a renewal with an increase, you can do a renewal with a decrease.
Okay.
So if you didn't need the capital in 5 years, you could take that 1.5 down to something else. But if we did take Mrs. Cross's recommendation, it wouldn't need to be 1.5 because the half mil portion of that would be at new values.
It could just be a 1.
So it
You're
would
letting
be
it
less than
pass.
5. Probably, I'd say 1.3, 1.5 would be my guess. They generate the same amount of money.
Is that even with the half mil renewal, is that going to be enough for the parks to actually cover their expenses?
They can't cover them now.
They can't cover it now, yes.
It's,
You could, but they keep taking more money. If we wouldn't take it, we could cover it.
Which I think is leading into another, I think at some point, we're gonna have to go, they can come up here this time, but I think we're gonna have to sit down with city council, talk about how these levies are,
Well, if the levy doesn't pass, then what are they going to do? They're still going to mow the grass. It's city property. They're still going to have to do basic maintenance, which is all they're doing anyways.
so they would just not have to.
Go back.
That's when I keep trying to explain to the city that this is a gift from the community to help the city. No other city has this gift of a levy that the community gives the city. The city needs to look at it as a gift and not as a burden. And they look at all these as a burden to, it's a burden that we have a park, so the park needs to pay for itself. It's a burden we have senior citizens, so the senior citizens pay that for, and pay us.
And that's,
No other city does that.
and that's not right, because that's part of their job is that's just.
I feel that way.
Yes, I 100% would go on that one.
Yeah, the only other entity around here that has any sort of park levy is the Centerville, Washington Park Levy, which covers Centerville and Washington Township. And that is a park district, so it is a separate entity, separate from Washington Township, separate from the city of Centerville. And other than that, other cities around here, nobody's got a.
Everybody has out of their general funds, they take money out of it and they give it to a park for their park. So they take money out and they give it to their pool they have. And they take money out and they give it to the senior citizen, whatever. It all comes out of their general funds. Where we have a levy, and then the city takes out of the levy and puts it in general. Instead of taking it out of their general funds and putting it in the park.
And I'd almost be willing to put money on it tonight if anybody wants to take the bet. If we run these in separate years, the $500,000 is going to come back as a replacement and not a removal.
That's up to them.
Oh, I understand. Well, what I'm saying is we're gonna have Randy Steiger or somebody else from the city standing up here going, oh, we've really analyzed the financial condition of the.
We can give you any numbers.
Placements that are.
And that will only happen if the legislature overrides the veto. Because replacement levies as it now stands today, are sunsetting the end of December.
So it'll be a brand new truck.
Would have to be a new vote.
Yes, sir. Just state your name for the record.
Isaac Morton. So if you ran two levies and you ran one as a capital in the city, if you ran one as a capital just for parks improvements, would that stop the city from taking any of that money? And the renewal for the 0.5 would be your services levy that they take money out of. Would that be a way to keep them taking money?
That's exactly what I want to do, but I also want people to realize that there will be some expense from the city employees of overseeing these capital funds, some.
And if they will, fluff those numbers as soon as.
So I can pick whatever they want.
That's
Well, can you audit them from when they fluff their numbers?
We've tried, but, I mean, we do what we can to hold them accountable, but it doesn't, no. There's no, I mean, we've tried, I've tried for 10 years and we can't get anywhere with it.
So like to what Lou said, the city's gonna have to mow the grass.
Right.
Whether you give them money or not, whether the township levy gives them money or not.
Correct.
Their employees are still gonna get a paycheck, whether they are going out to mow grass or they're going to pick up trash on the side of the sidewalk.
That's correct.
Still getting paid the same to do whatever job is required for their public service.
that is my whole pitch to them ever since I've been here, that you need to, if you will tell the community that 100% of this money that they're getting will go to park improvements, they might pass it again, because again, it only passed by 0.5% 5 years ago.
The city,
They are certainly not gonna tell the community.
so of our levies, because this is like an annual butting heads thing we have, they take out $80,000 a year out of our levy funds. They take $80,000, they say they can justify it, but so they take 5 from the pool, 15 from the seniors, 30 from fire, 30 from EMS every year for administrative fees. And when we've asked in the past for justifications, they send, you get a sheet with numbers that if they're gonna justify $15,000 for the senior center with 2 employees or 3, whatever they have, and a bus driver and the bills that they have to pay, and then 5,000 for the pool with all of its employees and everything that goes on, it doesn't make sense. So we've asked for the justifications over the years. When you get one, it doesn't make sense how they're taking so much out of one. It's because there's more money available. There's more money in the EMS and fire. There's more money in the senior center that they can take out. So it's frustrating. It's been an ongoing fight for, well, you were here, fiscal officer, we were going at them.
Yeah, 10+ years.
And we've gotten it slightly reduced over the years, But they won't,
But they've increased this employee back here for the last 3
So,
years.
so when they first started doing this 10+ years ago, it started with, well, we first noticed it with the pool levy because Mr. Stubbs was on the oversight committee, but then we found out they've been doing it with fire EMS and also senior. And so we said, what's going on with this? Well, this is to pay the salaries of the people that do the payroll and pay the bills and blah, blah, blah. Well, can you break it down? And so they gave us some, I'd just say a BS breakdown. Okay. Then a year or two later, they kept doing that, but then they started specifically allocating named people in the budget that they were allocating towards salaries. Well, these people, this is our maintenance guy, he's at the pool 20% of the time, so we're allocating 20% of his salary to the pool budget and, you know, and so, yeah, it was supposed, the admin fees were supposed to be when they first brought it up with it, or when we first started butting heads with them, were supposed to be to cover the maintenance guy out at the pool. But then, so they're basically, it's just a way for them to allocate money out of the specific levy fund back to the general fund, so it can be used for whatever.
They can do whatever they want to do.
And so then to your other question about, is there any way to audit? No, I mean, we could go and do a public records request and, you know, this and that. I have mentioned it to the auditor, before, said, hey, you know, they don't have anything down there. And it was basically kind of, well, we'll look at that next time I'm down there doing that audit, if I'm assigned to it. And, you know, we'll ask them for their justification. So, I mean, we allocate money up here, or we did. We're still kind of, from the, road levy, to pay for, say, the trustee that oversees the roads, part of his salary, paying also for the fiscal officer's salary. And the general fund's in good enough shape now that they can donate it back. But we have a justification for that allocation that says this trustee is responsible for overseeing the roads. This trustee is responsible for overseeing, police. Trustees are responsible. So we take some money out of those accounts and allocate back towards their salary. Okay. So it is legal to do as long as you've got a good justification. And when I say we, I now mean Mr. Easton.
then I figure if my math is somewhat accurate, they're taking about 10% out of the money that each levy generates a year. Or,
They're taking a lot more than that out of the pool.
well,
Or I mean, out of the park.
yeah,
Well, they're taking just about all of it, 113,000.
out of a levy that probably doesn't.
Oh, and out of a levy that generates 140.
So, right. And then they get mad at us because we hold back 10% of the money we bring in every year and we don't do anything with it but hold it, and they get mad at us for it.
So if the levies didn't pass, the amount of money that we're giving them out of the township levy, would those people be unemployed? No, they'd still have a job,
Right.
because they still have a job to do. That should, part of their job as public servants to do the extra, the little bit of extra. It's just seasonal.
Right.
Parks are seasonal. It shouldn't require that much.
Correct.
And it's,
It's in both 10 years, so I'm familiar with the seasonal aspect of it. And Germantown's the only one that takes money out of levies.
yeah. So
They did that under the old city manager.
Yeah, I don't know if they did or not.
okay,
So, I mean, where are we at this point then? Because I do have an issue spreading it out and not being truthful to the people running in 2 separate years.
I would kind of hope that the capital passes and the other one, one of them's not going to pass and the other one didn't. So
Do you want to, you're our representative to the Parks Board.
I wouldn't
You want,
want to.
you want them on separate or do you want them on the same?
I would run them separate, one as a capital and then one as a renewal. And then if the renewal, if the capital passes and the renewal don't, they can't touch the capital money,
So you want, which one do you, okay, then which one do you want to run first? The capital?
the capital.
Okay,
Yes.
so then that means we have to look into,
Depends on when you want it to start.
Well, we'd want this, if it runs in November, we would want it to start, okay?
If you started in 2026, you already have what you need. All we have to do is put it on the ballot tonight.
But it won't say,
Collection.
It'll collect in 2027. If you wanted to start this year with collections next year, then we need to start step one tonight with the auditor.
and we want that to say capital improvements.
I don't know whether that's possible. But
So do we need to look into that and then have a special meeting?
we can do that. That then would require two.
Which is fine. That's fine.
Good. Good. Any special meetings that we need.
We'll make Mr. Holbrook
Could
the
you,
chief be here.
No, they don't have to be here.
They don't need.
no, could you pass the resolution to ask the auditor's office for the amount of money that was generated starting in 2025, first collection in 2026, with contingency on being able to use the wording of capital improvement. That way you have the initial resolution passed,
Now we
if
can
you're
start the
allowed
process.
to use the language, and if you're not, then you have to reprove.
Or we could just pass it anyway as the capital improvements, and if they tell us we can't do that, then we gotta meet again anyway. Which is what they did after the last meeting.
This is what they did after the last time.
We still don't have good numbers though, how they're gonna spend it.
That's true.
It's on capital.
But
I
I,
mean, and again, they're going to
They
go,
had a month to do it,
I understand.
just
But we
because
don't-
Judy wasn't here and
We
What's
don't
his
have
name?
much time. to get-
vacation.
Again, the oversight committee was going to have to approve these capital funds.
when's the
What
next,
project?
when's the next park meeting? Do you know?
It's the first Wednesday of every month.
So, okay,
It'll be the first, whatever it is in August.
so it's gonna be a couple weeks away, so it's 6th, okay. So at the August meeting, can the park board oversight get together and come up with a list of capital improvements?
Well, I mean, he kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking the concessions, the paving. There's actually 3 pavings.
Okay,
The playground equipment, which they just did $15,000 worth up at Hillcrest Park last year. So. I mean, as long as it's capital improvements, we'll just move it around, whatever's most important.
That's what they do.
I mean, as long as it's improving the park, I don't really care. As long as it's improving the park and they're not taking it out of it.
Yeah, but a lot of our residents may want it all to be put in Berkshire and not MMI or not Hillcrest because.
MMI, I don't know really what they're talking about. MMI is pretty much done unless they want to do something special. Once we get our $50,000, we're in the last little bit of it. All we have to do is the wall, which that's all that matters.
But there's a reason we don't have it on paper. It's because they don't want to have something to refer to on paper when something gets put here or there. Right?
so it's on camera.
As long as it's capital. Which he said, concessions and the 2 pavings. And place. I mean,
And then
And seating.
that's playground.
seeding of the soccer fields, additional playground equipment at Hillcrest, and then finish MMI, whatever.
Well, that's, and yeah, the Hillcrest, they just put again, it was 15 or 12,000. They just put in that new playground up there. What else do they need up there?
So additional playground.
Yeah,
They did, but we just put $15,000 in there.
15 grand of playground equipment.
there's nothing.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
we
not a
already
very
saw
big
that
park. It's not much bigger than this parking lot.
Yeah, probably raised 50,000 for the PTO.
I mean, there's a shelter up there and then there's this playground. There's not much there. But I know that everybody in Hillcrest loves it and appreciates it and they're using it. So that's the money well spent.
There's a lot of houses that can walk to.
That's a lot of houses. It's right behind, go up to the top of the hill and around the curve. It's right behind those apartment buildings on the right.
I think that if you put a 1 mil capital improvement levy on, it's gonna have a tough time passing. I think anything is gonna have a tough time passing, let alone a 1 mil. Yeah, they're gonna say, what do we need this for? park is fine. You know, what do we need the extra?
It won't pass.
Well, they can't run it saying that they need it to mow the grass, right?
That's correct.
They can.
That'd be an operation. This is all capital. Again, it would be concessions, paving. So the paving is there by the nursing home, all the paving at Weber. And then the back part of down at along the creek where the disc golf is, that has not been paved yet. There's actually three
Or it's like a wraps around.
very large sections.
There's two on the northern end of the Percher. Two that are unpaved.
Two, yes, there is.
Yeah. Which is why you're looking at 400,000 to 500,000.
Yes, that is.
Given what they paid what they did 2 years ago,
Right, over 200,000.
and of course costs have gone up. Well, we can do anything you want tonight. We just need to settle what you want to do. We can request a 1 mil starting 2025, collecting in 2026, capital or no capital wording in there. You can go with our original plan, which is what we've already got from the auditor, to run one of two levies or both in November.
If I
do any of them.
If I had my druthers, I would say run them both in November. See what the public is going to tolerate. And they may tolerate neither of them, but I think that the renewal certainly will have much better chance of passing. But again, by staggering out, just like I said, then you do the one and then next year you do the half, and they're gonna say, well, we just paid for the parks last year. I'm not gonna pay any more for the parks. You get them both at the same time, you'll know exactly where you stand. If they pass the renewal, not pass the improvement, that's gonna tell you, they don't think the parks need those improvements at this time. Again, seasonal, you're not using those parks for most of the time. Maybe some of the disc golfers go out in winter, but they're, so.
Well, the only thing that I say is this town is a recreational town, is what I call it. Like, keep fanning them flames as a recreational town.
Well, then they'll pass it if you think it's that strong, but I agree.
The only thing that I see that that's just 1.5 is a lot more than one, but I understand both sides.
We're not doing both of them at the same time, we're doing two separate levies, just like, but we're doing on the same day in November.
So we'll do a 1 mil.
Do 1 mil and then the renewal. 0.5.
But then they're going to do one or the other. They're probably not going to pass both.
Well, they're probably not gonna pass both if you stagger them year to year. That's what I'm saying.
But at least you're being honest at that point.
Yeah, you're being honest, you're saying we need this renewal for basic.
Again, I'd much rather see the capital pass.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. What you would like to see.
But I don't care if the other one passes. We don't get none of that money anyways. I don't care if the $500,000 passes, we don't get any of that money. The city keeps all of that money with it, 15,000. So I'm not gonna vote for that. So, but the capital one could only be paid for fixing up pumps. So that's me. But
So assuming you want to follow Dr. Cross's suggestion just now, and you want them both to start in 2026 and mature at the same time, then we have what we need already tonight. We can move forward.
we have the one, then we'll lose a year of the one.
We won't start either one until 2027 in terms of collections.
But if they both pass, could the one start in 2026 collection and the other one start in 2027?
No, they would both start collecting in 2027.
I understand that, that's the way it's written out, but we're losing a year that we've already voted for. Because the $500,000 doesn't run out till the end of 26.
The $500,000 ends this year. The last collection will be next year.
Right. That's one of that's what I'm saying.
It's hard. You got to keep reminding yourself that it ends 1 year, but it stops collecting the following year because everything's done in arrears. If you want them to be staggered maturity, then we still need to go forward with something new tonight for the auditor to look at. It just depends on how, what you want. You want
Uh,
them both to mature at the same time.
If they both passed, I would like the capitals to start being collected in 26 for 25. And then the half mil would start collecting in 27 for 26, because 26 is already voted for and we already got that. We don't want to lose that year of, and then that's going to give a little bit of a break, because they're gonna, it's not going to change as far as the public on what they're paying. It's just we'll be adding 1 mil.
And that's certainly something we can do. We'll start the process, if that's what we want to do.
Does that make sense? Did I explain that?
But they won't be on at the same time, so that you would do the,
They'll be voted on at the same time, but not running out at the same time.
They will mature in 2 different years, 5 years from now.
But they'll be both voted on in November.
right. Okay.
And to clarify, so Mr. Houston has this to-do list. Do you want the 1 mil to be strictly specified as capital on the ballot if possible? So
I think
yeah,
so.
I like giving Mr. Houston more things to do because that happened.
I think the capital part's important.
I do, absolutely. It's very important for the public to know what it's going to be used for, and the city to know they can't touch it to go mow grass with.
Doesn't mean they won't try.
I know that.
Very inventive.
Creative accounting.
But I heard Dr. Cross say that's not what he thought. Restricting it to capital.
Yeah, I would rather not, I'd say, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, if heaven forbid or a tornado comes through and tears up all this ball fields and everything, they have to be, you know,
It's
suspended.
capital that we should be able to use for that.
This is true.
It just can't be used to mow the grass.
Or clean the bathrooms.
So we've got 3 resolutions in front of us tonight. We've got the 2 that you've already started the process for. We can use those, or one or both, or you can use this resolution in addition to one of those others to start a capital one in 2025 with or without adding the word capital. So no matter what we do, if we're going to run both in November, I need 2 resolutions tonight.
I would like to see the 1 mil include the word capital in it. For sure. I do think that's
Okay.
important.
So you want to start with that resolution?
That's the 1 mil. Is that, yes.
That's the 1 mil. You have it in front of you, Mr. Stubbs?
Yes, I do. What resolution number is
We're
that?
going to make it 40, and if you're going to make it specifically for capital, then I think somewhere we need to say in the quotation section, like 3 lines from the bottom, 4 lines from the bottom.
Okay.
I think maybe adding the word for capital, parks and recreation purposes, or maybe parks and recreation, capital purposes only. Maybe we put that in parentheses. As long as you put some words in that I can tell the auditor, they want this only for capital benefit purposes only.
Okay.
So what words do you want to add and where?
I'm going to add capital improvements, parks, parks. Does that make sense?
For capital improvements, parks and recreation purposes?
Well, where's parks is in.
Tell you what, write it in, hand it to me after you read it.
I would like to introduce resolution 2025-40, a resolution requesting that the Montgomery County Auditor's Office certify to German Township the total current tax valuation of German Township incorporated and unincorporated areas and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a recreational levy, capital improvement, parks, a 1 mil additional for a 5-year period of time beginning in the tax year 2025 with first half collections in 26 to provide funding in capital improvements. Funding and capital improvements for capital improvements for parks and recreational purposes authorized in the ORC section 570519H to be voted on November 4th, 2025.
Second.
So you're adding the words in, and then you'll give that to me and update accordingly. Okay, any discussion of this resolution?
Based on the recommendation of Mr. Potter and based on the discussion, and this got a lot more confusing, I think that it needed to, not from us, but I think it got a lot more confusing than it needed to. And I think it started a month ago when we were trying to be, not us again, but I think when it was not necessarily being made clear to the public what was being asked for. And I think that created a lot of unnecessary confusion tonight. And I think it all comes back to this city taking money that they shouldn't be taking out of levy funds. So this needs to be for capital improvement. But the purpose or the reason for all the confusion was because of, in my opinion, people trying to be sneaky with how, not us, not this board, but trying to be sneaky with how the money was trying to be, or the levies were trying to be put on the ballot. That's my comments for tonight.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Dr. Cross? Yes. Mr. Potter? Yes. That was a yes, Dr. Cross? That was a yes. Okay. So it's 3-0. Resolution 2025-40 is adopted. Do you want to do anything tonight on the half mil renewal? You can go ahead and put
We
that
want
on
it-
the ballot tonight if you want.
Because we want it on the ballot.
Oh, you want it on the ballot?
Right.
In
In November.
And that will not start until 2026, first collection 2027. And in my report, I've just given you the language.
I've got my papers all crossed up now. That's 41, is that correct?
41.
I would like to introduce resolution 2025-41, a resolution to proceed to a levy tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation specific placement on the 11/4/25 ballot of a 0.5 mil renewal levy for a 5-year period of time for the operation of the community's parks and recreations facilities. Thank you. You are welcome.
Sure, a second.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion of this resolution? I'll call the roll. Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Dr. Cross? Yes. Mr. Potter?
Yes.
3-0, resolution 2025-41 is adopted, so that will go on the ballot for sure. We will see what Gloria Butler says about resolution 40 and the 1 mil capital. And now we will need to go ahead and schedule a special meeting.
Do we know, but we don't know how long it's gonna take her to get back to us, so can we schedule that?
I would say wait a week. And beyond that, it won't be,
Okay,
we'll have it back within a week.
okay.
So you want to look at your calendars?
Yeah, I've got practice starting next week.
Practice.
Yeah. How about next Wednesday? I don't think I have it next Wednesday.
You're looking at Wednesday, the 23rd.
Yes, I guess so. I don't think I have the calendar with me. Apologies for the delay.
Just so it's our normal time. Agree?
7 o'clock on the 23rd.
All agree? Okay. So. Not exactly sure how I'm going to phrase that, but I'll figure it
Yes, you would. We appreciate all you do.
out. And with that, I am done
Thank you.
at 8:30.
That's it.
Heck of a way to start the meeting today. Thank you. Chief Birch, for your report.
I'll start out by saying the German Township Police Department is a police district, and all of our oversight is done by these gentlemen on this board. Germantown has nothing to do with us. Our monthly stats, total miles driven by officers last month was 7,997 miles. That kind of is convoluted when you look at that because we're in this 36 square mile and the officers are driving that many miles. That distance is equal to the distance from the eastmost point of the United States, continental United States, to the westmost point of the United States is 2,800 miles. So that's 3 trips back and forth, give or take, across the United States. It's also the distance from Dayton to Tokyo is 6,512 miles. So we drove further than if you wanted to drive to Tokyo, Japan. So anyway, total dispatches were 124, closed cases 122, case follow-ups were 18. We made 3 arrests. We had 556 business checks, 1,198 occupied house checks, and vacant house checks, 115. Now, the vacant house checks, I want to bring up again for the residents and whoever's listening. If you go out of town for any reason, let the police department know. We go out to your house several times through the day, walk around your house, make sure everything's fine. We love to do that, make sure the houses are safe and there's no criminal activity going on at your house. So please let us know and we will look out for your house. We had 5 crashes, 46 traffic stops, and wrote 23 citations. Equipment issues and information. I'm pleased to let the trustees know that the 2016 Red Jeep Renegade unmarked was sold on GovDeals for $5,150. This is $1,150 more than we anticipated. Shauna did a good job. Thanks for your help, Jeremy, helping her with GovDeals at getting that extra amount out of that car. So it's gone. It's no longer under our own. Cruiser 001 had to have the passenger mirror replaced. The mirror cost was $382. It's the exact same mirror if we would have tried to get it through Ford, which was $600. So we saved a little money there. And also thanks to Jeremy and Scott for installing it on the Cruiser. They probably saved us another $500 in doing that. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the road department for all they do for the German Township Police Department and German Township as a whole. These guys are jacks all the trades and they're always willing to help when we ask them. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Monthly info, the German Township Police Association is honored to announce that they have received a generous donation of $10,000 from the Germantown Eagles. The Germantown Eagles have consistently demonstrated their unwavering support for law and order in our community. This year, they chose to show their appreciation to local first responders with this remarkable contribution. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the Germantown Eagles for their continued support and commitment to public safety. Their generosity strengthens our mission and the safety of those we serve. So thank you to them. They not only donated $10,000 to us, they also donated $10,000 to the Germantown Police Department, Jackson Police Department, Jackson Township Police Department, the Farmersville Fire Department, and the Germantown Fire Units. So they're very generous of it. The German Township Police Department was awarded a 75%, 25% law enforcement body armor grant from the Ohio Attorney General's office to buy all new bullet resistant vests and carriers. Most of our carriers are outdated, or the vests are outdated, and we saw this grant, and Officer Getter was doing a lot of our grant writing for us, and he did this and was able to get it approved. So basically the total cost of, I think it's 10 vests, was $13,317. 75% of which will be paid by the grant. And then the other 25%, we're going to take out of the donation that the Eagles gave to the police association, pay for the rest of it. So we're not out any money of the budget to pay for this. So that worked out well. This is one of several grants that we're working on right now. So I'm really pleased with Officer Getter's involvement in this and his ability to write very good grants.
When you get the grant taken care of and you receive the bullet resistant vests and carriers, could you guys get like a picture and a card and send it down to the people so they know that their donation like made an impact on?
Absolutely. I already sent them a thank you card and included that in there, that that's what money was going to go for. but
Perfect.
I'll get a picture and
Yeah.
send it down to them. Yeah.
Perfect.
The German Township Police Association is going to have a dunk tank at Germantown Saturday Night Out on 7/19, which I believe is this Saturday, correct? An attempt to strengthen community relations and also help with the association's funds. Police Association funds are used to pay for things like our annual Santa breakfast, to supplement funding for our National Night Out that we do for the community, and also to help the police department with safety items that are usually not budgeted for that come up through the year. Stuff like what we just had come up with the bulletproof vests. Please come by the dunk tank and dunk a police officer if you would like to do so.
Dunk your favorite officer, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's all I have.
I'm guessing there won't be a lot of speeding tickets that week, this week.
No, that would try, well, as you can see, we don't write a whole lot of them anyway. We give a lot of warnings.
Yeah.
We hope that the warnings are gonna work for people. Sometimes they don't,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Can I just add real quick? I just read the school resource officer memorandum of understanding between the German Township and the Valley View Local School for the 2025-26 school year. It's very thorough and clearly described what the SRO can and cannot do while on campus. So thanks, Sean, Chief. Is Officer Nichols going to be there?
Yes.
Yes, he will remain the SRO and he's very well versed in our MOU.
It seems like he's done very well.
Yes, he's done a fantastic job. I'm very pleased with this.
So, yeah, so there was, so if anyone wants to read them, sure, but the memorandum of understanding is very good as far as delineated everything that they can and cannot do, which is good. So,
Yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
And he did an excellent job. Being in the building, I can tell you, he did an excellent job. He kind of got tossed in there quickly, but he did a fantastic job. Just relating with the kids, the staff, and everyone there. You know, he's very outgoing, and that was definitely a bonus for him to get acclimated and get to know everybody. So,
And you have to, within a year of appointment of SRO, you have to go through it's a 40-hour school resource training. He will attend that this summer. I think it's the end of this month. He's going to be going through that. It's a 1-week training. And I do have to say, if I had a child in school, I would want someone like Josh Nichols protecting my child. He goes to that school on his own on weekends and runs that school and times himself on how long it takes him to get from point A to point B. He's good at what he does. And I think our school is very well protected with him.
I agree.
Along with the safety officers from G2G, which is they're a very good company of retired officers. Kurt Bell from Germantown, he was one. We've got a couple others that work down there and they do a fantastic job as well.
All right. Is that all?
That's it.
All right. I will move on to Mr. Holbrook's report.
Just a few items to talk about tonight. Want to let the trustees know that Oakley Blacktop Incorporated has completed the repairs on Siegel and Butter Street. Marked out some failed areas where the base underneath the blacktop was failing, and they excavated that out to approximately 10 inches deep and backfilled it with all asphalt, 8 inches of base asphalt and then 2 inches of surface mix on top of that. I think they've done a good job doing that. The patches are pretty smooth, and I went up and inspected every single patch they did, and they were plenty deep. So the total cost of that, I know we had approved 35,000 for the total project, and the total cost came in at $29,592.50. So I think I turned that bill into Mr. Eastham. Second item is Scott and I have started doing some of the wedge patching on the roads that are going to be receiving chip seal for this year. I can't remember exactly how much we put down, but we have been patching several of the really hot days, which has been a real joy. But we're not completed with that yet, but probably another month, by the end of the month, we should be done. Also, we've been maintaining our guardrails. We completed the second spraying of our guardrails, which include Roundup 2,4-D and then a pre-emergent to try to keep anything new from sprouting up in the guardrail. Hopefully we'll get to spraying straight glyphosate on the Johnson grass in the coming weeks. No, we've been really, really busy with all these other things that come up, the storm, the rain. These contractors come in, we have to inspect. We've kind of let that go longer than we wanted to, but we are going to get on it. So, other than that, continue to mow cemeteries. And one other thing I want to bring up, Chief, don't know if you remember, but need to get Jeep off the insurance.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that usually slips through my mind.
Yeah.
Yay, we got rid of it. And
Yeah.
then a month later, somebody says, is that still in the insurance?
I've got a post-it note on my desk to.
Yeah. That's all I have.
What streets are going to be chipped this year?
You were gonna ask me that.
What roads?
I can use 2 cents.
What roads are going to be chipped this year?
Go ahead with your meeting and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Any business.
All right, next we're going to move on to our zoning report. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce to the board our new zoning inspector, and that's Miss Janet Burton. Happy to have you here tonight. You kind of got thrown into it. It's been a big meeting, lots of people here. But yeah, welcome Janet to the township, and thanks for joining us and taking over our zoning department. And with that, I'll turn it over to you for your report tonight.
Thank you.
She's been here for almost a month, right? 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, almost a month, working on it.
Yep.
But it's been great. Everybody's been wonderful. So, as for the zoning report, we had 2 permits in June, a fence for David Brewer and a residential addition and covered porch for Jeffrey Ventura. And then, we had multiple complaints on 2 properties in Sunbury, Arch Street and Main Street. And we sent certified letters to those people. And thankfully, they have been addressed by the property owners, and we don't have to do anything with them.
Perfect.
So
That's
a
ideal.
good news.
Yes, that's the ideal. That's the best thing as possible. All right.
That's
Hey,
not
thank-
necessarily normal, though.
That-
No, but it's just my good luck. I'm gonna keep on to that right now.
Keep that going. So, all right, thank you for your report. Mr. Holbrook, back to
To
you.
answer your question, EB Road from State Route 4 to south to the line, the county line, Stiver Road from the Pike to the set of curves, South Puddinbag Road from Oxford to Madison Township, East Kiefer Road from Germantown, Middletown to Astoria, Barlow Road in its entirety, and East Friend.
Hold on. East
East
Kiefer.
Kiefer,
That-
sorry.
yeah, I was-
East Kiefer, I was looking at East Friend. East Kiefer is from Shimp to Browns Run.
Okay, that makes more
And
sense.
East Friend would be Astoria to Germantown, Middletown.
Okay.
Sorry.
And anything on your truck?
Have not heard anything. We talked to the upfitters and they're still having large issues with personnel trying to get trucks built. They've got probably 40+ trucks sitting that they can't build because they don't have.
Have any update or anything on the story of Roseville?
No, you know.
Nothing. I haven't heard.
They haven't done anything yet, so I would assume,
It's a pouring.
but but no like construction or anything.
No.
So
It's
at
a
least
year out.
I was gonna say at least a year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while.
I get asked often, and that's my response. As far as I know, it's at least a year out.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know.
It'll be next year anyways before you construction begins.
So then you're probably talking a year from that point, right? Probably.
What they do.
So that's
Fix it.
Montgomery County's doing that, so. That's
Is this somewhat equal to what they did on Oxford Road, building that land bridge?
No, I don't think so, because I was told by Joe Durham that when this slid, it did not take any blacktop, so it does not qualify for any emergency work. They have to, it's all coming out of Montgomery County's general funds.
To answer your question, as far as building a land bridge, I'm not sure they're at that point yet. As far as in the engineering portion, they can do pilings, they can do a land bridge, they can do just armoring, building it back up. Who knows what,
Because no blacktop was.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to trustee Potter's report.
I just got a short report this year, Parks. We had the 4th of July parade. It was a success, no problems as far as I know. After the parade, I was at the sidewalk dedication, for Bob Neff. Was added to his wife Sherry, and then Bob McLean's, sidewalk was at the corner, going down in front of the poll booth, and going to the pool. There was a sign there for that. The MMI had storm damage and they had the park closed for a couple of weeks until they got that cleaned up, the down trees and limbs. Waiting on a quote for the wall where the plaques will be placed. That'll be the next project at MMI. The pool got the sewer line repaired and reopened back to normal. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Potter. Mr. Cross, Dr. Cross.
Thank you. Per request by Mr. Easton for a copy of the Montgomery County Jurisdictional Emergency Intergovernmental Agreement that I signed on 6/9/25, I contacted Todd Barstow, who is the Deputy Director of the Montgomery Office of Emergency Management. He stated that once the document was signed by all the entities, it would be distributed out. So we'll get that to Mr. Easton.
Thank you.
Fire EMS Oversight Committee meeting set for 7/7 was canceled. I attended the 7/7 Germantown Council meeting. The highlight was council passed a resolution to purchase and install a generator at the senior center. The total cost will be about $130,000. $75,000 will be paid for by the community block grant. I attended the 7/10 Senior Oversight Committee meeting, and the highlights of that, the event participation is continuing to be well attended. Membership is 234. The center had 5 rentals in the second quarter. Due to problems with the former cleaners, the service staff, the staff has taken over the cleaning themselves, so they're doing it themselves, so probably saving some money. I listened to a webinar sponsored by the OTA entitled "The Trustees' Role in Township Zoning" this morning, actually. It was a good overview of township zoning, and I would recommend listening to the webinar once it is online at the OTA website. And that's it.
All right,
Ta-da.
thank you, Dr. Cross. I've got a little bit, so I'll move quickly through it. Did you get a copy of mine?
I did.
Okay, I added a few things, so I'll give you this afterwards as well.
Okay.
From the cemetery tonight. Just like to thank the Lions and everyone that came at the beginning for the special presentation for Frank Kazarek. That was a great opportunity to thank him for his service. The cemetery, they've been crazy busy mowing and cleaning up with the storms, the rain. They've had 50% more burials than this time a year ago, so they've been buried in their work. But they've done a great job keeping up. The storms on, June 19th. I took down a large pine tree, which we had to have a professional company come in and remove. It was so big. So that was taken care of. We had an update tonight from Burkhart's on the wall project we're trying to work on out front. Mentioned the city a few times tonight, so I'll mention again. They've added some things they'd like to see, including a swale along the roadway. It's moving our project over, which makes our hill steeper. So he's taking it back, trying to get approval on that. They also had, I guess, requested some type of guardrail, which didn't officially request that, so that's not going to happen. But we're looking, hopefully they'll approve it this month and we can get started on a project. We will be working with the neighboring property owner. Hopefully he's agreeable to what we're doing to take care of this wall and sidewalk issue. The plan going forward, if it all goes as planned, is the wall, the sidewalk will be gone. They're going to level it, including a slight ditch for whatever rainwater comes on the top of that hill there, and guide the water down. So that's the update from that. The flagpole that was damaged approximately a month and a half ago. Dodds, they will be fixing the damaged monument, and they will be reimbursing us for the flagpole. A police report was made, as well as our insurance company contacted in case it has to go that route. But Dodds has been on top of it recently, and I think they're going to take care of it. We're not going to have to go through insurance or any other options is the plan. The website and the software project is coming along. Bob Rohrbach is doing a great job in his time down there of inputting data and getting us to where we need to be. Within the last year, we set aside, we applied for a grant. We received a $2,500 grant to do a project where headstones that had either fallen over or were leaning to a point of it becoming a safety issue. Keith had laid out the ones that were most important. So we applied for a grant. We received a $2,500 grant. We ended up spending $6,625. $2,500 of that covered. We had 36 stones reset that had either fallen over or were very close to falling over. So it was significantly more than we had planned on. Number of stones wise, we thought it was going to cost more than it did. So happy with the number, 36 stones reset in the course of this year. So as we go forward, we're going to use some of our perpetual care money to reset any stones that may fall from here forward. And then next time, maybe we can apply for this grant again. It's every other year. If we can get this grant again, it may be something we can do in the future, is to get some of these stones, these older stones that are falling over, leveled off on some of the hills that makes it incredibly dangerous if they are leaning just a little bit for our mowers driving by and then anybody else, any visitors in the cemetery. I would like to ask the police, this just came up tonight, I didn't get a chance to tell you ahead of time, if you guys can do some extra drive-throughs at night. There's just been some things moved and there's nothing on camera. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. We don't know. Just some different things like heavy pieces of like markers, just not where they're supposed to be and stuff like that. So we don't know. There's nothing on camera.
Paranormal.
It's a ghost. Yeah. That's for you guys to decide.
We'll check that
But if
out.
you could do a couple extra drives,
Yeah,
just put it on the schedule to
Yeah.
drive through at night.
Absolutely.
And just keep an eye on the place. I'd appreciate it. That does it for the cemetery. I attended the question. No, okay. I attended the MCTA meeting, at Washington Township a couple weeks ago. Amy Bohart from ARC, everybody's favorite ARC Animal Resource Center, was there. She gave a presentation on what they do. ARC can only house 80 dogs at a time. Across all of Montgomery County, that's not going to be very many. And I know we've had problems in the past where we've had a dog here and they won't come get it. They estimate that Montgomery County has 140,000 dogs in the county. They also estimate that only 29% of those are registered. So they wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that dog registration is December 1st through January 31st. And that they can only house 80 dogs at a time. They also offer microchipping at ARC for $25 for Montgomery County residents. So if anybody wants their dog microchipped, I believe they said you did not have to have an appointment, but you may want to call and check if that's something you are interested in. The Washington Township Administrator was appointed to the Human Services Levy Committee with Georgianne Godsey. There is a House Bill 355 proposal, which will make levy approvals threshold 60%. It's not passed.
It's not going anywhere.
I'm just relaying what they said, but yes, so that's just, I guess, in the Ohio legislature at this point in time. They also mentioned that the OTA website has new features for members that we can check out as well. Lastly, I'm adding this, I forgot to add this. I'd like to thank Lou. He's not gonna like this, but Lou came and stepped up when the storms came through and donated a lot of his time and effort to the road department. So I just wanted to make sure, I know you're not gonna like it, but everyone knows that he stepped up and did more than he had to do for the road department in a time of need. So thank you to Mr. Potter.
No problem.
Um,
Happy to help.
With that
To cut things.
yeah. You have to cut things up, right? And push things out of the way. So, yeah, thanks to the road department as well and the police department for getting us through that crazy night of storms.
I was out of town, so.
That was,
7 roads closed, that township road.
Yeah.
So
that was crazy how it came through that fast and snapped those trees off, just made a mess everywhere. So thank you to,
Started after the storm with 25 calls holding on the board.
yeah,
Us with the road department got through it in a very timely manner.
And so that everybody knows that several officers that was off duty came in with their own chainsaws and it was helping also.
There was one question I was gonna have about that. That night when that happened, I could not get to my home on either end of Oxford, just blocked.
Yeah,
And when I tried to ask the officer, I just got a wave and told I couldn't go.
yeah, there were, on Oxford Road, there were power lines down on both ends.
But what do you do in that instance to inform your citizenry? Because I
If
could.
we're out there responding like that, there's nothing else we can do, but
You just can't go to your own house.
yeah,
Because the officer wouldn't tell me anything.
yeah, he doesn't know much about what's going on other places. He only knows what's going on at his point that he's at.
I just say most people would be mad if they couldn't go to their house.
And I'm sure they would, but it's all about your safety. We can't have you driving under or over, down power lines. You have to find someplace else until we get it cleaned up.
I know my
And
sister was on.
sometimes that entails waiting on the power companies to come out and get the lines cleared. There was a couple lines that we took a chance and us with the fire department were able to cut the lines and get them out of the way. But yeah, if they're down, we're not gonna let you.
No, I understand that, but not to be even spoken to when it's 11:30 at night.
I will address that
And
issue.
not to be even told, I mean,
Yeah.
my house was right there. I didn't know what was
Yeah.
going on with my house.
Yeah,
And what was I supposed to do? Just camp out and go to work the next morning?
most of our points of contact with people, are, why can't I get through here? And
I just
that's,
think their emergency maybe response put something up somewhere, have somebody, I mean, you have to call general dispatch.
yeah, our main goal is to get the roads protected and safe and cleared. We don't have time at that point to do much else than that. So, the officers communicating with you, that is the key. So I'll bring that up and talk to the officers about that. Yeah,
Could CERT have been any assistance?
our CERT group is dwindled to maybe 5 people that might be able to come out. So what we did in this case is all the officers came out and did everything we could to get stuff taken care of. Our CERT team has, I tried really hard when I started this chief to put a little fuel in that fire, and it's not went well, unfortunately. We don't have a leader, anymore, and, right now, Officer Getter, that's writing our grants for us, he's overseeing CERT, and he's put communications out, and there's just not a whole lot of participation. It's kind of the sign of the times anymore. Nobody wants to volunteer for stuff like that anymore, unfortunately. And if you look at those pictures up there, most of the people are I would say over half of the people that are in those pictures are not in a state that they can come out and help it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm up there.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll address that with the officer. We do try to communicate, but I will make sure that they understand that they need to communicate in situations like that because we have to let you know why, what's going on.
Especially that late at night.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've already
yeah.
taken a limb off my dad's garage and had my, yeah,
yeah,
not to know when I could go home and what was going on with my house. And last time something like that big had happened, my parents' house had totally burnt down, so it does make you think.
sure, I understand. I will let them know to communicate a little better if they can.
And then,
Um,
oh, go ahead.
That's it.
I was gonna say, last thing I'd add is I appreciate all the discussion tonight. I think that was what makes our board and our meetings different than other places around here, that we have a dialogue with the people that come. And I think it's helpful for the
We
board.
allow a dialogue.
We allow a dialogue. That's, that is, we allow a dialogue where other people in other places do not. And I think that's important, just in the overall aspect of what we're trying to do here is doing the best for the community. So having that open dialogue all night long, I think is important, and not just having 1 2-minute session at the beginning of the meeting where people are allowed to talk, I think is important. So I appreciate
You're the only person that didn't talk tonight, so do you have anything?
This meeting's gone on awfully long.
it has. All right.
One second.
When Kurt gets started,
Could you please,
he doesn't stop.
could you please state your name for the record? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 9:06.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. We're adjourned, 9:06.